So naturally the question will be, what can you do to harden your build? Well, we don't think that there's anything that you need to do to harden it up. It's pretty much already configured to be safe, and it's using the theory directly, so there's nothing you really need to do. Most of the challenge will simply be trying to get it operational, and there's quite a bit of technology that you need to use there. Some of this is very useful. OpenVPN is very useful, generic VPN technology, and VirtualBox is a very versatile virtual machine. So all very useful stuff. Getting it operational is a bit tricky, and we've included some videos in the next few parts of this course for you to have a look at, and there's some voiceovers there for you to listen to and study in case you get stuck. I'm now going to just briefly look at the code to explain what's going on, although, as I said, you're not expected to really understand this. But if you boot up the access node, the core node, and the remote method and outsource node in the NetBeans project, and you open up the source code and click on the boot package, and inside the boot package of the access node, click on the access agent. And if you open up the access agent, you'll see that it boots inside the boot agent there, and essentially starts up the context reduction engine with a class called the OS3i access client wrapper, and that allows the agent to do normal method calls, but all those method calls are driven through the context reduction engine, and it's all encapsulated in there. It's extremely complex, and I would recommend that you probably stay away from that, but if you're interested in how it works, you can open up those classes and see how those method calls are translated into sets, and those sets are transferred so there's no library calls, which is the core problem for exploits today. And then you can just see how those method calls are actually made. There's two examples there with get react to temperature and get react to pressure right at the bottom. You can check the log files to see that those were made. And now switching to the outsource agent, it's exactly the same thing there. You can see that it starts up the context reduction engine with the OS3i outsource client wrapper, and the method called post system notice is made. And these are all going to be communicating across different templates and different nodes in a secure manner. And the core agent which receives those calls, if you look in the boot agent of that class, you'll see that the CRE service is where all the functionality resides for responding to those method calls. I think the important thing to realize here is that those method calls are not being made with the underlying language, and so the exploits are unavailable. It's just transmission of sets and reading the state information out of those sets in a very narrow way according to the specification. So as long as you assume that that is indeed what's happening inside those classes, then you'll be fine. Alright, thank you for following all of that, and do take a look at those videos that explain how to actually launch those attack and defense templates, and that's done in almost slow motion, so you can follow that with a voiceover. And good luck. And next milestone 8, we'll be looking at how to run the attacks themselves, and that starts getting quite interesting. Thanks a lot.